Almost everyone builds their weapons the wrong way, and they don't even know it. They keep chasing higher recoil stats, but that's not what makes a weapon easier to control. Most players open YouTube, copy someone's build, and hope for the best. But every attachment has advantages and trade-offs. So let's fix that. Every weapon in Delta Force Mobile comes with its own set of stats. Every attachment you equip changes those stats, sometimes in ways you might not even notice. For example, let's take a look at this M4A1's attachments. As you can see, the M4A1 comes with a wide range of attachment slots, including the stock kit, rear grip, magazine mount, magazine, rail bipod, foregrip, muzzle, left rail, right rail, barrel, left patch, right patch, upper rail, upper patch, optic, and offset optic. However, keep in mind that not every weapon has the same attachment options. Some guns come with unique attachment slots that aren't available on others. Before you start building your weapon, the first thing you need to figure out is your playstyle. Are you a close-range player, a mid-range player, a long-range player, or are you simply looking for the easiest recoil possible? I'm not just going to give you a loadout. I'm going to teach you how each attachment works, so you can make your own decisions and build the perfect weapon for your own playstyle. For this guide, let's assume your goal is simple: build the easiest to control M4A1 possible. When building for recoil, there are three key stats that matter the most: control, stability, and accuracy. Understanding what each of these does is the key to building the perfect weapon. Control represents how well your character can control the weapon. The higher this stat is, the easier it is to keep your aim steady while firing. Stability controls how much the weapon moves and shakes while you're firing. The higher the stability, the more stable the gun feels. Accuracy affects how accurately your bullets leave the barrel. A higher accuracy stat means less bullet spread and a better chance of hitting exactly where you're aiming. Now it's time to start building our weapon. Let's begin with the back of the gun, the stock kit, and rear grip. If you've built a weapon like the M4A1 before, you probably already know that equipping a stock kit prevents you from using both the stock and the rear grip. So what's the best choice here? The answer is simple. Pick the combination that improves all three key stats: control, stability, and accuracy, while avoiding unnecessary penalties to handling. Handling affects how quickly you can aim down sights. The lower your handling stat is, the slower your ad speed becomes. So unless you really need the extra recoil reduction, try to keep your handling as high as possible. I tested a bunch of different stock and rear grip combinations, but none of them came close to this stock kit. As you can see, it offers a much bigger boost to the three stats that matter most for recoil control. Alright, let's move on to the rest of the build. First of all, always use a magazine mount. It doesn't have any real drawbacks, so there's no reason not to equip one. If you mainly play Warfare, magazine size is a huge deal. So realistically, you'll want to stick with a 60-round magazine, even though you'll have to give up a few important stats to get that extra ammo. If you're one of those players who loves camping in the back of the map, the rail bipod is your best friend. Just mount your weapon on almost any ledge and you'll be firing with practically zero recoil. Now here's where things start to get interesting: the foregrip. There are several different types of foregrips, and depending on which one you choose, they can reduce vertical recoil, horizontal recoil, or both. Since our goal is to build the easiest to-control weapon possible, we should prioritize reducing horizontal recoil as much as we can. Why? Because vertical recoil is much easier to control with your own aim, while horizontal recoil is unpredictable and much harder to compensate for. The same logic applies to the muzzle. Prioritize one that gives you the biggest reduction in horizontal recoil, and if it also boosts stability and accuracy, that's an easy pick. Those are the muzzle attachments you should be looking for. For your rail and patch slots, my first choice is always the Ranger handguard panel because it increases control. But if your weapon is running low on stability or accuracy, replace them with the Hornet handguard panel or the modular handguard panel to balance out the build. Now let's talk about the barrel. It's one of the most impactful attachments in the game because it can change everything from bullet velocity and effective range to, on certain weapons, even the firing mode itself. For this build, I'm going with the AR trench as it provides the biggest boost to control while also giving me an extra meter of effective range. It's the best balance for the Lorcoil setup we're aiming for. Finally, let's choose our optic. If you're playing on a phone, I recommend using a higher magnification scope like the Recon 5X adjustable scope. Yes, it does reduce your handling a bit, but the extra stability and the increased zoom make it well worth the trade-off. However, if you're playing on a tablet like I am, the VMX frameless sight is the better choice. The larger screen gives you a much wider field of view, so you don't need as much magnification, making the VMX the perfect balance between visibility and handling. Before we wrap up, there's one final step: calibration. Calibration lets you squeeze even more performance out of your attachments by increasing stats like control, stability, and handling. The trade-off is that you can't fully optimize both handling and control at the same time. You'll have to decide which one is more important for your playstyle. Let's take a closer look at the calibration settings. When you open the foregrip, you'll see two sliders: weight and thickness. Adjusting them changes your control, stability, and handling. For this build, I'm willing to give up some handling to gain better recoil control. In my opinion, that's the better trade-off if your goal is the lowest recoil possible. Now let's calibrate the barrel. The two sliders here are weight and length. Increasing them boosts your bullet velocity and stability, making the weapon more effective at range. The downside is a noticeable loss in handling. Since this build is focused on recoil control rather than fast ad speed, I'm happy to give up some handling for those extra performance gains. And that's it. You've just built your own weapon without copying someone else's build code? Now you know how to build any weapon in Delta Force Mobile with confidence, instead of relying on someone else's setup every time? If you found this guide helpful, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and lets me know you want to see more videos like this. And if you're looking for an active Delta Force Mobile community, check out the link in the description and join our Telegram group. We'd love to have you there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.